crafters, welcome to Inkspirations with Sheri. I'm here to share a great technique with you today, so let's get crafting. The technique that I want to show you today is called the pillow top or quilt top technique, and as you can see from the card, it creates this cushioned look to the card with just using simple tools that you'll find. This was one of the first techniques that I learned, and I thank my sister-in-law for showing me this. So I love it. It's one of my favorites, and so I wanted to share it with you guys. So with starting with this card, what you're going to need is your card base, which is made of basic gray. So it's your basic 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So the base itself is this color, and I've set it aside for now. The part of this card that is going to take a bit of time is actually the distressing. So the first step that you're going to do is you're going to grab your Simply Scored scoring tool, and then I've added on the attachment of the diagonal plate. It just simply slides into place. So with this, you're going to take your Wisteria Wonder, cut it at 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and then you're going to start scoring this base at 1-inch intervals. So on your scoreboard, you're going to look and stay consistent, either being prior to the line or after the line. You want to make sure that you're in the right groove, and then you proceed at the 1 inch to create the 1-inch score lines. So you're going to proceed along, and you're going to do that through the whole width of the paper and length of the paper. Again, just staying at 1-inch intervals. You might have to slide your paper along so that you can see where, okay, there's 1 inch, so then going to the next 1-inch interval. And so it's hard to see, but I hope you can see those score lines. So you're going to proceed along, and the end result is going to be 1-inch squares all across your card top. So then you're going to take your Wisteria Wonder ink and your sponge dauber. You're going to fold on one of the score lines and then start flicking. And I have to admit, in class, the ladies were teasing me that this was the fold and flick, or flick and fold technique, because it consists of a lot of folding. So again, you go along one line. So once you've covered and distressed that line by flicking, you're going to flip it over and do the other side, or proceed all the way through all the lines, doing one direction and then go through the other direction, and then flipping it, doing opposite. So you're actually scoring each score line twice, once from one direction and once from the left, once from the right. The other thing that I would recommend is going around the edges, and I would do that first, because as you're scoring the card and folding it and flicking and distressing each edge, the card does get a little softer. So I would proceed and go along all the outside edge first. Then again, you're going to fold, flick from the right, flick from the left, and then you're going to go the opposite direction entirely, flicking along the whole line or distressing. So what happens, you can start seeing each square is going to start popping out of your paper. You can distress as heavy as you like or as light, and again, it's just going to create a greater effect. So you're going to play with it and get comfort. One thing you do want to do is even distressing over the whole entire card, just so that it doesn't have obvious changes to your distressing. So once you've done that, rather than you watch me do all that, you'll end up with a sheet that is completely distressed on all 4 sides of each square, and that is what's creating that popped up effect. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your card base that's scored at 4 1/4. You're going to crease that, and then I would recommend taking your topper, and I use this nail adhesive, running it along the edges. Make sure you get all the corners, and then evenly spacing it 1/8 of an inch in on your card. And then after you've positioned it, you want to take your finger and run it over the adhesive lines that you've created, and that burnishes it to the card and helps it hold it into place. So next what you're going to want to do is we're going to make our top to our card. And so with that, you're going to need a piece of Whisper White, 3 1/4 inch by 2, and also silver foil sheet, 3 1/2 by 2 1/4. So we will set this piece aside and we're going to stamp. And I'm using the Bloom with Hope, which is one of the current Hostess sets. Wonderful set for watercoloring and just stamping an image on its own like we're using today. So once you've stamped that, you're going to adhere that to your silver foil. And again, I just use a snail, but your glue runner, or sorry, glue stick, liquid adhesive, any of the Stampin' Up! Adhesives will work for this. Then what you're going to do is flip it over using your dimensionals. You're going to put one in each corner. We're going to pop this up. One thing with my cards is I always like to add a little bit of dimension, so we're going to achieve that by adding some dimensionals. So take off your backings, and then you can position that onto your card wherever you'd like it. On this one I've picked right here, push where your dots are, and then your final effect on this card is going to be using the Dazzling Details Silver Sparkle. And so you're going to simply squeeze it till you start to see the glue come out, and you're going to put some into the centers of each of these flowers, and that's to complete that look there. Now you want to be careful because it's going to take a bit for this to dry, so try not to stick your hand through where you've already added the glue, so the glitter effect. So add a little bit, and then just go through and you're going to add a little dot. Like I said, don't run through with your hand where you've already been. And again, rather than have you watch, this is what your final project will look like with the dazzling diamonds in each intersection on the card. Thank you for watching my video today, and I hope to see you again. Until then, please visit my website, inspirationswithsheri.ca. Till next time, bye!